Alright, like to start off by saying Barakatay Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Racha HaKodash. Welcome to another live lesson. Pretty much, today's March 12th, 2018. Shalom Mak. And I did a lesson with, we went live last week, this past Friday. And I went back to check the video, the live stream we did on Friday, and come to find out that they either never put it up or they took it down, you know. And I didn't get a chance to go back and watch it. You know, I don't remember everything we spoke about. We were speaking about different things, and but the bottom line is that these devils, they're playing with the feeds, they're playing with the videos, you know, they're playing with the views, they're basically playing around with the live streams and the shows that are being put up, you know, because they're trying to do away with this net, or they're trying to control it. So you know, I just wanted to mention that because they had took that video down, and I remember we were going into the idols of this con it 24 hours for put live videos upload, they flag our videos with age restriction. Yeah, so you know pretty much, you know, I know we were talking about the idols of this world being visited. We talked about how the international bankers and Esau was going down, you know, and those are some of the topics we were hitting on. And they just took it down. I mean, they either, like I said, because I know we went live because I saw brothers putting up comments. You know, Apostle Elder Gabar was watching. You know, because he was watching it also. He was in the area, so I know that the video was recording. You know, but be it as it may, whatever. You know, these devils, this is their kingdom. They have the power to do whatever the hell they want to do. You know, so let them do what they do. But just, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't think this is gonna be a long video. Just gonna be something that I've been meditating on, wanted to kind of do, and pretty much it's dealing with when the Lord brings us into this truth, he gives each and every one of us a certain amount of talents, which was already put into our spirit before the world began. You know, that's what the word educate means. Comes from the Latin educare, which means to draw out. And this truth is going to be drawn out of us, you know, which is that oil, if we were the ones that were if we were the ones that the oil was put into before the world began. I was just watching the brothers, Shaman and the other brother. I'm not sure the brother. I don't remember. I don't know the brother's name. They just did a live show maybe about a good hour and a half ago or so, and Shaman had mentioned how there's oil in the earth, you know, and you know, you don't know exactly where it is, but when you dig, there's certain places you dig that the oil comes out. And that's the same thing with the elect. You know, the elect have the oil. So he was making that analogy, and it's the truth. You know, if you are part of the elect, you know, that's why we say we're hopeful elect, you have that oil in you, you know, and that oil will be brought out at the right opportune time, you know. And in this truth, we've been given a certain amount of money, spiritual money, to trade out here, you know. And every brother that comes into this thing is not given the same amount of spiritual money as another brother. But just because you don't have the vast amount of the knowledge, you know, or faith, doesn't mean that you're less important than a man that has great knowledge and great faith, you know, because we work, it's a synergy that works together, you know, to get one goal done, and that's to teach the word, you know, so that Yahweh Bashem El Shai can fulfill his prophecies. You know, so we all have been given a certain amount of this knowledge, you know, and a brother that has more can't look down on a brother that has less, you know, because you know, I'm sure you had that in the past, guys that were real good. You had it in the past. I could name names, guys that were really good in memorizing stuff. You know, they seemed like they were running and they were going top speed, making everybody else around them look bad. Having men looking down on brothers that were there, you know, because they said, well, look at this brother. You know, this brother is on fire. He's doing this, he's doing that. But that guy ran out of gas because he was looking down on a brother that didn't seem like they had as much as he did. You know, I mean, I hope this is all coming together. You know, I know I'm doing a little speaking. I'm going to get to the scriptures, but I just kind of want to just get this out in the air because you have that. You know, you have those, you know, like I'll give you a good example, Batak. You know, Batak, the former head of the Chicago camp, you know, he knew the scriptures back and forth because he memorized them, you know, and then he would look down on brothers that didn't have it, you know, or that couldn't get it as fast as he could, you know, and you've had this many times, you know. Look, we didn't bring you into this thing. You didn't bring us into this thing. Yahweh Bashem El Shai brought us all into this thing, and he gave us all a certain amount of information and a certain amount of knowledge and a certain amount of faith. And whatever he gave us, that's what we have to work with, so we work with it, you know. Now, just because you don't have as much as the next man, don't use that as an excuse not to do anything. No, you take what the Lord gave you and you work with what the Lord gave you, because that's the portion that was allotted to you. You know, just like a man that has a lot, that the Lord gave a lot to, you know, he gave him a lot so he can do a lot. Of the scripture say, of whom much is given, much is required. You know, so the same thing with the man that has a lot. Just because he has a lot, so push a lot. You know what I'm saying? Don't say, well, I got it, but I'm gonna just do whatever I want. No, just same thing with the brother that doesn't have as much spiritual money or information and this knowledge as the other. Oh, I don't have enough, so I'm just not gonna, you know, because that falls into the category of putting your talent in a napkin. You know, so I just kind of want to just get that out, because if you have any of you brothers out there that's looking down on brothers because they're not coming up on a level fast enough, or they're not doing as much as you are, doesn't give you the right to look down on those brothers, you know, because they can't produce as much as you can. You know, because at the end of the day, like I said, the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai brought us all into this thing, and he gave us all a certain amount of knowledge and a certain amount of faith and a certain amount of ability to teach his word. So whatever ability the Lord gave you, do that and push. Don't try to use the excuse you have a lot, but you're trying to act like, nah, well, you know, I'm just not going to do too much because, you know, the spirit really, no, don't use that as an excuse. Scripture say, use not your liberty as a cloak of maliciousness, you know, because you'll have niggas that'll do that. They'll have it, but they're I ain't gonna, you know, do nothing with it. You know, don't be that dude. All right. So I'm just gonna start off here. Matter of fact, before I start off with the first scripture, I'm gonna go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, real quick, and verse 8. It says, "For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of the Most High, not of works, lest any man should boast." So this thing is not because you do a million videos, you know, that guarantees you're going to be saved. No, you're doing a million videos because, first of all, the Lord gave you that spirit, and you're given diligence to make your calling and election sure, you know. But that doesn't mean that because you did those million videos, you're going to be saved, you know, because this is a gift and it's not of works. But we still do the works to show our faith, you know. The brother, I'm gonna read a couple of these precepts. Baquar Amath, Revelation 22:12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. That's right. Sirach 19:24. Kasab, he that hath small understanding and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. That's right, man. You know, and shalom to you, Akim, you know, on the comment board, and, you know, the sincere brothers, you know. Yeah, because the Lord gave each and every one of us a certain amount of this knowledge. And we all work as a body in unison through what's known as a synergy, which are many different components working for one purpose. And that purpose is to teach the word so that the Lord can fulfill his prophecies so he can get the hell out of here. So now I want to go from there to Matthew 13:3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when the sower sowed, he sowed different seeds in different types of ground, right? But others fell into good ground and brought forth brought forth fruit, some in 100-fold, some 60-fold, and 30-fold. So every man that comes into this thing either falls under the 100-fold, the 60-fold, or the 30-fold. If you fall under the 30-fold, you can't do what the 100-fold man does, because that's not the gift that was given to you. Just like the 60, the one that was given the 60 can't do what the 100 does. You know, the same thing, the one that was given the 100 shouldn't do what the 60 or the 30 does. Do what the 100 is, you know? So you brothers out there that got the 30, the 30-fold, work with what the Lord gave you and push. And if you feel that you lack wisdom or knowledge or understanding, pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to increase you in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so you could do more. But don't be content. You know, don't just be complacent. Push it what you have, with the ability that the Lord gave you. You know, don't worry about trying to be like the man that's got 100-fold or 60-fold. Work with what the Lord gave you and push with what the Lord gave you. Because that's, at the end of the day, we're all working out our own salvation with fear and trembling. When no man can save us. The scriptures already told us that. The only one that can save us is Yahushua. We need Yahushua to come back and deliver us. That's the reason why we out here laboring and fighting and pushing his word, so that when the Lord comes back, we can be found worthy to escape these things that are going to come, you know, upon the earth. All right. It says, so that was it. So let me read that again. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some in 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Now I'm going to jump from there to the same book in Matthew, but the 25th chapter. And the 14th verse, it says, for the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And what are the goods that were delivered unto us? This knowledge. This is the silver. This is the talent. This is the money that the Lord gave us. He delivered this to us, you know, but he gave it, he distributed it to us, because Yahushua received the full portion. He didn't receive just a little bit. Yahushua received the whole portion, and he gave to every one of us a certain amount of portion of his goods to hold on and to keep until he came back. And in keeping that, we supposed to go out there and teach and push this word with whatever the Lord gave us. Okay? It says, and unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. So he gave each and every individual a certain portion of this knowledge, right? It says, to every man according to his several ability and straightway took his journey. So now I looked up that word several, and the word several comes from the Greek word idios, which means pertaining to oneself, one's own, belonging to oneself. So in other words, this is like the word educate. The word educate from the Latin educare, which means to draw out. You could only draw out of someone what was put into them. You know, you can't squeeze more out of a man than what the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave him. And like I said, the one that received 1 talent or received the 30-fold, you keep teaching, praying, the Lord will increase you. You know, just like the man that received the 100-fold. He received the 100-fold, he'll keep praying and the Lord will increase him. So when Yahweh Shai comes back, he'll receive the money that was given plus more, you know, which is interest or usury, spiritual usury, you know. So the word several is oneself, things that belonging to oneself. And then the word ability comes from the Greek word dunamis, which means strength, power, ability, which is like the word dynamite. Okay. And so each and every individual in this knowledge received a certain portion of knowledge that was given to them, and a certain amount of strength and ability to push the word forward. Work with that. Don't try to do something because you're trying to please another man. Do the work because it's in your spirit and because the Lord gave you that portion. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing this thing to please another man, you're going to end up falling out. Because we may be in favor with a man today, and tomorrow we'll fall out of favor with that man. And he'll look at us one day he'll look at us bad, and the next day he'll look at us good. One day we're in his good grace, and another day we're in his bad grace. But at the end of the day, it's the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai who we are here to please and to push his words. And the men that are over us, we give them reverence because we know that they are men of the Lord also. But we are also men of the Lord too. You know? Because this knowledge is a vast knowledge that was given to a certain amount of men. You know? Just like, I'll give you an example. Back in the days, like High Priest Ariel was put up on a pedestal like if he was the Most High himself. You know? And the Most High didn't give him all of the knowledge. You know? He gave it to different brothers. He had a great portion of the Spirit. Beautiful. But the 100% of everything was not given to him. You know, it was given to different men. So the same thing today. You know, it's the same thing. So whatever gift the Lord gave you, push with that ability. Push forward with that. Don't try to go beyond, you know, what you can. And trust and believe that with whatever you got and you teach with that, the Lord is going to increase you. If you're doing it from the sincerity of your heart, the Lord is going to increase you. He's going to make you gain more and more understanding and more ability to do more. The point is just push. Don't be like the dude that had the 1 talent and put it in a napkin, hiding wisdom in all her beauty. No. Because you'll have some guys that'll try to use that excuse. Well, I really don't have that much, you know, I really don't know too much, so I really don't go. Nah, man. That's a bullshit excuse. Whatever gift the Lord gave you, push with that gift. And you best believe that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will increase you if you're doing it from the sincerity of your heart. All right, so going back, Matthew 25:15, and to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Now, before I read on there, I'm going to go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 3. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is the Lord, but by the Holy Spirit. And we were sealed with the Holy Spirit. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. So it's one Spirit with different types of gifts. And each one of us was given a certain portion. Each one of us represents a part of the body. It says, and there are differences of administrations. And the word administrations, there's a precept there that says, or ministries. We were all given a portion of the ministry. We didn't bring ourselves into this. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai brought us into this and gave us a different gifts in the different parts of the body that we represent. Right? But the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power which worketh all in all. So we all have a certain gift and a certain portion of it that we were given. And just because we may not be as great as another man doesn't mean that we're less significant. We're all as important. That's why you have the parable of the penny. You have men that came in at the first hour. You have men that came in at the 11th hour. Now, the men that came in at the 11th hour are just as important as the ones that came in the first hour. It says, but the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another divers kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. So everyone that's in this truth that the Lord brought in is given a certain portion of this truth. But all these worketh the one and the self same Spirit. So you have different members, but the same Spirit. That's why we are to speak the same things. Dividing to every man severally as he will. Now you have the word there severally, which goes back to the word idios, meaning belonging to oneself. It says dividing, because this truth was divided to every man severally as he will. To every man was given the portion that belongs to him. You go back to the prophets. You had Obadiah. He wasn't given a bigger portion as Isaiah, Jeremiah, or Ezekiel, but his portion that he had, as small as it was very important to pushing his word and prophecy. It says, for as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Yahushai. So all these members work together in unison, in unity, as one. Going here to the book of Romans, the 12th chapter. It says, I'm going to start at 5. Romans 12 and 5. For we being many are one body in Yahushai, and every one members one of another. So we all complement each other, in this ministry. That's why when brothers go out to speak, you may be in the spirit, you may be speaking, and the spirit will jump on another brother, and everybody compliments each other, or are supposed to. Everybody's supposed to compliment each other and teaching the word, speaking the same exact thing, right? It says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Why? Because we all have the different gifts, but we all working for one purpose. Just like the body is one body, but it has many members, and it's constantly working for what? To keep the body healthy, right? That's the same thing with the knowledge. Keep the body sound, the truth sound, the doctrine sound, with the different members that complement one another. It says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. And that's the point. Not every one of us was given the same amount of faith. Some brothers have greater faith than others. But the point is, if you have faith, that faith will grow. And in having that faith, that also comes with the gifts that you're given, And whatever gift the Lord gave you or gave us, we work with that gift to the best of our ability and push it forward in the hopes that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will increase us in those gifts. Right? or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching. So we have to wait on these things, and we push with what we have. But if we push with what we have, we will get more through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because we will ask for more. And the Lord sees that we're doing the right thing, he's going to give it to us. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Okay? And it goes on. You brothers can read the rest. So going back to Matthew 25 and 16, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. He didn't want to do the work because he didn't feel that he had enough. Nah, man, don't be that dude. Whatever the Lord gave you, work with that. And you better believe that you will, if you are sincere, if you are a man of the Lord, if you really fighting this thing for your salvation, the Lord will increase you. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. Because he want to know what the hell is going on. What are you doing with my money? And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. Now, did this man say, well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't, this other dude over here, he didn't do as much as I did. I should get more. No. It says, his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Which is what? Salvation, the kingdom, the chariots. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. And he just went and did the work with what the Lord gave him. The ability that the Lord gave him. He didn't give him as much as the first man, but guess what? He did what he had to do with what he was given, right? His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Again, he'd be saved. Now, did the Lord say, well, no, I gave you 2 talents, but you're a wicked servant because you didn't do as much as the guy that had 5 talents? No. He did what he had to do with what he was given. Each one of us has been given a certain portion of the Spirit. We have to work with what the Lord gave us. And eventually, the Lord will increase us. Then he which had received the one talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. So that, you know that this guy's going off. Because he didn't receive as much as the other 2, but what he received, he bullshitted with it. He put it in a napkin. He dug in the earth and hid the Lord's treasure. The Lord ain't dealing with that either. So whatever portion of the Spirit the Lord gave each and every one of us, that's what we have to work with. And like I keep saying, and eventually the Lord will increase us. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanges, and then at my coming I might have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him that gave it, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he that hath abundance, and shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Why? Because those guys that are not using their talents, those talents are going to get taken away from them and given to somebody else that's going to use those talents. So don't use the excuse that you don't have as much as the next brother, so you're going to just fall back and play the background. No. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Because if the Lord take his spirit from you, you'd be out there bugged out, man, in darkness. Like Nazariah and them guys. But talking all them other different guys that fell out. Thinking that they're doing the right thing, and they bugged out. And they don't realize it. They're in outer darkness. So the bottom line is, take the talent that the Lord gave you and work with that talent. If it's not a whole lot, push with what you got. And eventually you pray to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he will continuously increase you and increase us. Because it's about growing in this truth. Like it says in this book of 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. We drink the sincere milk of the word that we may grow thereby. And it's about growing. Okay? So don't be the dude that takes the talent and buries it or puts it in a napkin. Use the talent that the Lord gave you and push to the best of your ability, you know, and until we get out of here, man. Okay, so with that, you know, hope your brother's been edified. To the next time I say shalom. Just wanted to make that point. Shalom.